and welcome back to Trekyards Mission Briefing, a weekly Wednesday dose of Star Trek review discussion, and in this case, a first look for us of something in what could be considered the next new generation of Star Trek, the Discoveryverse. Half visual reboot, half just new show. What we're looking at today, Stuart. I want to hear what you think, because this one is a ship.
It is indeed a vessel of some sort. We're looking at the USS Shran, or the Maggie. I want to say Maggie class, but I don't think it's Maggie. Maybe Maggie.
I think McGee.
McGee?
Yes.
So it's either Mr. McGee or Maggie or Maggie.
It's worth saying for Stuart's review of this. This is an Eagle Moss render. They released a ton of great images on, I guess, their hand-picked ships and what they want to cover in the Discovery sub-collection of the collection, which was a great day for us. We were like, oh my god, 7 renders. And this was our first real look at this ship, which was in the Battle of the Binary Star, as the large fleet of blurry, out-of-focus, dark ships that we can't really appreciate. But now we can. So, Stuart, what do you think of the McGee class?
Nothing on it makes any goddamn sense. There's no visible nacelles. They look like they're built into these two bulk things at the side, but yet there's windows in them as well. So the nacelle must run down the middle of these things. So obviously no line of sight unless it's through the ship. I know line of sight. I don't agree with the line of sight rule, guys, but we got to kind of mention it at least.
I agree with it as a technical premise, but it's not a rule. Like, you can obviously design around it because this is the future. But I think it should be the constant if able. You know,
yes,
or the rule being you can only achieve the best warp speeds at line of sight until like right at the end of the eras. But the Defiance is quite a unique case. Anyway, sorry, Stuart. Continue.
Anyway, I can see why it's called the USS Shran. It seems almost like it could be in an alien, one of these Federation members' ships design-wise.
Well, who's Shran? Remind us, Stuart.
Well, he's of course the Andorian from Enterprise, who was kind of, I want to say a pain in the neck for Archer, but they eventually became friends. But with the two pods there, they look a lot like two little antennae, so maybe that's why it's called the Shran. And we know, in FASA, the USS Andor, which is one of my favorite designs, is an Andorian-built ship. It's built, and it's got the nacelles side by side. So it could be that this is Andorian-inspired design, which would be kind of neat. That's why I'm thinking Magi or something. Maggie, not McGee. Doesn't make sense unless it's an Earth vessel. I don't know. Anyway.
And I love that you brought that up, because we've already done a few episodes on these sorts of ships, and we take them from the human perspective, trying to compare them to TOS, Enterprise, and what we design as. But in the Desperate Hours novel, and in TOS as well, I think they mentioned that there is a exclusively Vulcan commanded ship. Full crew. I don't know if it's a colony or it's just another ship, but it's a full Vulcan crew. This is still a point in the timeline where you had a sense of diversity, but only in the fact that ships were parted by one. Like, it was diverse because this crew was this crew was this, but it was like one off. That's why you see, wow, they're almost all humans / all humans, except I guess the Saru. So this could easily then be the Andorian designed, Andorian piloted ship. Hence the difference, and because obviously their technology is quite different. If you look at and this is fair to compare, the Andorian Kumari, its warp engines are 2 bolts at the back, 2 blue things. So they're not line of sight, they're not pylons, whatever. If this had 2 warp things at the back, same form, that's their technology level. You know, wouldn't need to run by the same Federation standards. Just like the Vulcan ships have warp rings, so you don't need the 2 nacelle configuration. So what do you think, if you go on that perspective?
I love that. I mean, when you compare it to the Andorian ships from Enterprise, I could see this kind of being a cross between an Andorian ship and a Federation ship. Move those pods and things forward, integrate them into a saucer design. This works for me for that kind of explanation, for sure. Do I like it? Not so much. Maybe if you turned it around the other way. This is kind of like when we looked at the Hoover class, USS Edison. You turn it the other way, it looks like the Falcon a little bit. This one, if you have the other way be in front, I kind of like the shapes better because it looks more sleek and aerodynamic. And I know aerodynamics don't apply in space, but it would just look faster and meaner looking the other way. But then again, it kind of takes away from the Star Trek vibe that way as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, we know that when John was designing, you know, he was given boat ton of stuff, and it's like, how do you make 16 unique versions of a ship? Well, since obviously the design rules were both don't follow TOS and do your own thing, we can break the non-rules that existed, because I certainly don't think Gene would say yes with design. I don't think, other people would say yes, not because necessarily it's a bad design, but because it doesn't follow the design aesthetic. Now, I do think if you lessen the sorceryness, and didn't give out a similar... that's the problem, because, well, I'm trying to link that to if it was more a distinctly Andorian design. But we're so far into the formation of the Federation that there wouldn't be, or there shouldn't be, 3 generations in, 25 years in, this is an Andorian ship, this is a Tellarite design ship. No, this is a Federation design ship, but via a, design either for an Andorian crew or something more specialist. So I can, so it needs mostly Federation into it. But I almost want them to lose that front saucer bit, fill that in, have a detail there, so you only have 2 half saucers, and you may push out a module at the front, and make it even less Federation but more Andorian. At least the Enterprise version might have worked a little. Again, it's a tricky ship because it does work visually, but it's not pretty, nor doesn't even feel practical. But it kind of works, but you're scratching your head thinking why and how, I think.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And the design of it makes it, because of the bulk, it just seems a little like this is probably an older design.
Yes, I'd agree.
Again, there's no visible weapons or even a shuttle bay.
Oh, sorry to jump in there.
Just kidding.
Double down on the older. Look at what it's got at the front of the bridge module. 3 windows, like the USS Kelvin.
Well, that would be that's a really small ship then. I would think those would be more like cargo doors or something.
Yeah, but I think scaling's off on the ship anyway. I think because again, all these things were upscaled after the fact, so
yeah,
but I mean,
that'd be interesting.
Because I visualize them as windows, but with there's no glass, they're recessed, so they're smaller, but they've got shields, which would be interesting because this I almost can buy it more Kelvin era, especially considering how absolutely low tech the engineering room was. That obviously the exterior ship is that's advanced as we can go. We can't do anything better than that. This is let's do it differently, but a similar sort of bulk. And we know that they do use some Kelvin era pieces, like the bridge command chair of the Shinjo is almost identical to the Franklin, and there's a lot of links there, and a lot of the controls are very identical.
If those are windows, though, they seem like the most useless windows ever, considering the fact that there's these big things on the side, so you can't even look out of them and really see anything except for what's in front of you, and you still got these walls here. I mean, it'd be very claustrophobic.
I mean, look at the Shinjo's bridge. You can't see anything above you, so you lose all.
Yeah, but you got such a great view of the bottom, though.
It means you've already got to make sure the ship stays like this to an enemy ship, or this side slide up. Whereas normally on a normal ship, you just stay flat with them and just below them slightly, and they have a tail view. You have to stay that to them always. So you'll be doing this.
Well, if you want to look at them, but I don't think the windows are for looking at things necessarily. It's just.
Isn't that the point of a window? Well,
it is, but
not sorry, a Trek window. Yeah. Now, there's obviously not a lot to deduce here outside of it. Although I will say, what do you think about? Well, the only thing we can really link to age-wise is the Basard styles, because we've seen actually a lot of variation in the binary fleet style. I mean, the Shinjo is 50 years old or something around that. And that's got one style without actually Basards. Then Discovery has a very distinct Basard style. What does this tell you?
Well, that's funny you said that, because the registry markings on the side, if you just showed me that, if you covered up the rest of the ship, I would think it's a Shenzhou, like a Walker class ship. It looks like it could be the same era build-wise. But yes, then the cell ends are very much like the Discovery.
Just less advanced because they protrude, they're bulkier, they're not integrated. It kind of feels more like the Discovery Alpha because they're more distinct pieces.
Yeah, And just for anybody that doesn't know, that's the one that was released at San Diego Comic-Con, like the very first thing we saw of the Discovery, more square engines. So, yeah, see, I kind of get the same. I get the vibe that this is the same era as the Shinjo as far as construction goes. So like 50 years old, because we know that the Walker class is an older design.
Mm-hmm.
I get the vibe from this. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Well, it's interesting. I double down on that. It's got they're almost pontoons, which is an NX era thing, and if you look at the bridge module, it's connected to everything else, which is a Kelvin era thing. Because a lot of other bridges are a bridge module, but a lot more of these seem to be connected. You know what I mean? The Shinjo has that, and this has that. I guess people want. It's an alternate shape format, and also you said about the side registries, because it would be weird to put it in between the two like you wouldn't. When you start changing the shapes radically, you can't put the registry in the same place. But yeah, how bulky the shapes are of the pontoon Bassard nacelles. I mean, you're looking at older, cheaper, simpler. I say cheaper in terms of manpower and time to build. Yeah, this to me is a super low end scout ship, Andorian survey vessel, like, you know, cheap and simple and easy, and just not like there's no secondary hull. I'd bet you. But then where's the deflector then?
Well, that being said, it could be that these nacelles are actually way more advanced, because if you look, they're basically they would have to be in the center of those pontoons. And they're surrounded by windows and ships, so it's not like it's dangerous radiation or dangerous whatever coming off of them that they have to be away from the ship. They're integrated right into the ship. Like,
see, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, not because I don't think you're right, just because if you link to the other ships of Discovery verse, the ones we really see, Shinjo and Discovery, they both do have a slice of light at the side of the external nacelle portion. So I would bet that the top pieces are living modules. The bottom version has no windows and has a slice, and that's where the engines are.
That would be kind of neat.
And then you got line of sight, you got deflector maybe right at the front. It would sort of fix that problem, I think.
Yeah, okay, well, when you put it like that, yeah. I never really considered that, but yeah.
Because there's no lighting, there's no... You wouldn't... Apart from the Bassard pieces, there's nothing to them that says engine. Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So the bottom piece might be. And then the impulse drivers right at the back would kind of fit just fine. I guess the Bassard's just soaked down, just send down. And then if you think on that way, you're saying, right, we're not going to build a secondary hull. We're going to integrate the nacelles in. Does it make sense or good to have let's just throw two big aircraft hangars of just bulk shapes to the top of the saucer. Now we've got more space. Now we've got two more decks. Like, does that work for you? Or are they super functional? Are they dedicated zones each? Maybe it's like a medical ship, and each zone is like one big ward, each one being separate so it won't spread infection.
That works for me. I mean, every ship has to have a purpose, and
yeah,
I could definitely see a medical ship. It does, yeah. I could see that absolutely.
Or even science ship, but just huge labs, huge zone. I mean, you can't do everything in a TNG lab with three computers. You need these big gas chambers and whatever. Like, you need these sorts of spaces. That might work too. Although, doubling down on that, there aren't any visible weapons as far as I can see, and we know they're phasable turrets. We know they have something. So there's not even any torpedo launchers we can see. So that might link more to it being a medical or science or super, like this is just this one starship.
Yeah, I could see it definitely being a medical ship. I do like that a lot. It should have a nice red cross on it somewhere then.
Yeah, they're missing colour. Too many greys. That's one nice pearlescence of the TOS. That was a nice like creamy, and also there's no blinkies. No red and green blinkies
that we can see. I mean, maybe they're. I don't know.
Well, when you build a 3D model, like the Bassards are lit and the windows are lit, so you just light the blinkies. You know what I mean? You'd be yeah. I mean, there's sort of a bulb on the right hand side, but there's also not one on the left hand side. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so there you go. We've dissected it far beyond I think what we thought it could be. What is
With
now
one picture, yeah.
your final thoughts on this first look? Now we've actually tried to... Again, that all might be nonsense. It probably all is, because we tend to really think about it. But assuming some of our thoughts have some slight validity, what do you think now?
I still hate it. It's not a nice looking design. I'm sorry. It's bulky. It doesn't really fit in with the Federation fleet, in my opinion. I'd say it'd be more of a civilian transport or something like that if I'd just seen it out of context. But I'm looking forward to seeing more of it again. Like I said, I'd like to see the bottom of it and get more views so we can really get a feel for what things are and where they are, especially the nacelles. If they're on the bottom, that would work really well for me. But I do like the idea of a medical ship or some kind of specialist ship, specialist purpose. So there we go.
Okay, one more question. The bridge module, the bridge circle, and the back piece is very similar to the NX. I think, having known the NX reasonably well. How do you feel about this being one of the oldest? NX era, and then they're well, damn, we have to design a few alternate ships. This be, 75 years old, 60 years old.
That would totally work for me. Like I said, with the bulk and just the way it's designed, it looks like an older ship, more primitive in its design.
And then doubly Andorian, they just said, yeah, we like your sources, yeah, we'll just... Yeah, Shran, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Cool. Yeah, it's fine. I need to see the bottom view. Deflector, is there a secondary hull? Is it solid? Where's the impulse? I mean, it's a very... it's weird. It takes away the unique Star Trekness and makes it a flying saucer with stuff attached. And that's weird that they've pulled away the Star Trek extra gem, and it just feels sorcery, and that's weird, But super rudimentary, super cheap ship, I can kind of buy. So there you go.
So guys, hope you liked this video. If so, show us by clicking that like button and subscribing, because we always got cool stuff like this coming out all the time. And don't forget to click the notification icon, the bell, because that helps us out and it helps you out to let you know. I'm really confused here. To let you guys know when our new content is coming out. So it helps us and you, so just do that kind of stuff.
Did you say kick the like button?
Click. You can kick it if you want.
I mean, that would break the monitor, I think. That's not the best.
That might,
yeah. Best idea that you've ever had. I mean, you have some good ideas. It's not the best. Or one of the better ideas that we all have here at Trekyards is support us financially if you can, of course, or just share this video and you think people will enjoy it. Either at Patreon/Trekyards, give a little bit each and every month to help this show keep going and develop and get new guests and new specials and follow Discovery as it comes out and get new renders and all that great stuff. And do the research so you don't have to. Or a one-time donation at trekyards.com as a thank you or a tip, or just say, good show, guys.
That's right. So until next time, guys, and another great ship or great guest or great topic, I'm Captain Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.